Aaron, we got to speak to Linnell Carr a little bit. I just wanted to get your opinion. How has he improved over fall camp in these first two games?
Man, yeah, ever since he got here, I seen how he's grown and become more knowledgeable of our defense and seeing how pieces fit together. He's just also an amazing athlete too, so that helps.
What do you feel like is really clicking for the defense right now?
Man, I think like we're all trusting each other. We're just getting closer to one another and knowing that each one of us has a responsibility and we're just playing off of that.
How detailed is Matt Guerreri's game preparation throughout the week?
Man, he's serious. He's a serious guy when it comes to game preparation. He wants to make sure everything's good, and it starts with him on the back end, but he also, delivers it to the linebackers and D-line as well.
And then you being a part of the front seven, how do you guys performing well kind of alleviate the pressure off the defensive backfield as well?
And I think if we go and affect the quarterback and how we affect the quarterback makes it a little bit easier for the guys in the back end, so they don't really have to deal with all that throwing threat.
Lewis Moore's been here for a couple of years now in the secondary. Just how much have you seen him improve since he got here?
Man, well, he's a character. He's a funny guy. He's really a hard worker, and he's a detail-oriented guy. So he wants to make sure everything's right, and he lets you know during practice too. So he's big on details, and I can see how he's grown over the time.
Any stories kind of stick out about him?
Yeah, there's one. Coach G, whenever we're in fall camp, he said whenever a guy is doing what he wants to do or doing up to the standard, isn't up to the standard, to tell him to get out of practice. So he's always joking with guys. He's like, I'm gonna kick you out if you don't get this right or something like that. So he's just that type of guy. He's a funny guy.
What's reinforced? You talk about the trust that you guys have built. What's reinforced that on the field? Like when you're lining up for a play, how does the mechanics of that trust work in terms of who's doing what right and all of that?
Mm-hmm. Well, really, for the big part of trust for me is dealing with the D line. So knowing how them guys they move and do different things really allows me to play off of them and play fast. And on the back end, at linebacker, sometimes you have to correct, or if something doesn't turn out how you want it to up front, then we have to correct it. So just knowing that they have a responsibility and job to do, and we just play off of them, and it just makes it a little bit easier.
What's playing behind a guy like Andre Carter that's on that defensive line?
Yeah, he's just a dominant force up front. That's what I always say about him. And just the way he plays, he's the beast out there on the field. You can tell in every way he moves.
What's it been like playing next to Jacob at the linebacker spot? How's that going for you?
It's going good. He's a really smart guy, and we feed off of each other well. We became close ever since he got here, and so being able to trust a guy like him, knowing he knows his responsibility, him trusting me, we just feed off of each other.
Marcus Burst is a guy who can play on the edge, play inside. Younger guy. What have you seen since he's come here as far as his development, how much better he's gotten?
He's also a guy that's grown a lot too. Just seeing how he come up since he's got here in the fall camp, and maturity-wise, he's a mature type of guy. And just knowing how much he's worked for it, I'm glad he was able to show it out on the field on Friday.
What's kind of Andre's personality on the field? In huddles and all that. Is he intense? Is he quiet? Is he loud? I mean, how does he kind of carry?
I would say he's intense. He's not much of a loud guy when it comes in the huddle or anything like that. Just when he gets after it, he could tell he has an edge to him. But he's not too much of a loud guy. He's really focused and serious whenever it comes in the huddle or preparation stuff.
Who's the loudest guy on the defense?
The loudest?
Yeah.
I would probably say Louis Moore. Louis Moore and Noah Pierre. Them two guys, they feed off each other too, and who can be the loudest for the most part. And they're both good characters.
Is that just like usual defensive backs do a lot of the talking on the
Defensive backs normally always do the talking, so yeah.
Do Lewis and Noah just start competing for it at times?
It seems like it at times. They go back and forth all the time, so it's good.
You guys have done a good job of stopping the run through two games. What seems to be clicking on the front seven end?
And just knowing our responsibilities. Like we say, we have a dominant up front defensive line, and so them guys, when they get after it, take and move bodies around on their offensive line, it allows us to move and fit gaps well.
Marcus Burst just told us when it comes to the defense, we haven't really seen the full potential that you guys can have. Do you think that reigns true?
It does reign true. We've been watching self-scout over our last two games and seeing how the little mistakes could have even better outcome with our defense and everything like that. So just getting those few things cleaned up, we can definitely have more potential.
Yep.
Aaron, he's got Louisville this weekend, obviously they're coached by Jeff Brom, who you would have played against at Purdue. Is there anything you fall back on from when you played them, or is it just a totally new ballgame now?
Yeah, there's been some things or similar things with how he does his offense and everything. So we have looked at that, but also it's a whole new team, whole new, I guess, personnel we're going out against. So kind of take it in as all new for the most part.
You mentioned earlier your working relationship with Matt G.
Mm-hmm.
Your off-field relationship, I'm sure, has kind of evolved over the last several months. What's that process kind of, I guess, kind of how has that expanded, and kind of where are you at right now off the field with him?
Yeah, he's the type of guy who always come up to you whenever you're not doing without specific football things, like questions or anything like that. Just seeing how you're doing. Like after the games, he always comes up to you and says he likes how hard we play to every single person on the defense. Just building those type of connections, give another person like a touch on the shoulder, just saying like, "Good job," or "I see you," or "You're doing good," and stuff like that.
Secondary is allowed, I believe they rank about 11th in the country right now in passing yards. Obviously allowed 21 yards Friday night. How does that kind of change your job when you've got a unit that's playing so well?
Man, that's good. I didn't know that stat, but yeah, it makes us want to play harder. Just getting after the quarterback, affecting him and how he does things is like a big part of the front seven's job. So doing that will allow them to eat on the back end.
As a leader, kind of how have you seen their cohesion kind of expand throughout the fall and kind of throughout the season so far as well?
Yeah, so they're a tight-knit group. Coach G has them running. Coach G and Coach Shelby really have those guys in line, detail-oriented guys. So I just think that they just keep going, keep stacking days, and we'll have a good season.